Imagine you get an email from a client. There's an invoice attached, and you have to download it, save it to your drive, create a task for it, move the message to another folder, and reply to the client. How much time does that take you? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? And now imagine you get 20 emails like this every day. That's almost 2 hours of work, completely wasted. Today, I'll show you how to automate this whole process so the system does everything for you while you enjoy your coffee. Let's break down, step by step, how I built this automation. The whole thing is done in 15 to 20 minutes and will save you hours of time every week. In 7 steps, I'll show you how to set up a trigger, go through all the attachments in an email, save the attachments to Google Drive, create payment tasks in Google Calendar, and finally send a short message back to the email. Step 1. Setting up the trigger. We'll start with the email. The automation needs to know which emails, from which mailbox, it should process. I used an SMTP trigger, which is a module that monitors my email inbox. Step 1. Setting up the trigger. We'll start with the email. The automation needs to know which emails, from which mailbox, it should process. I used an SMTP trigger, which is a module that monitors my email inbox. Create a connection using the Add button. Set the folder you want to monitor. Set up filters for monitoring messages. In my case, I used all unread messages. If you want to use an additional filter, here's a quick tip: filter by sender, filter by subject, just set a keyword, filter by message text, again, just set a keyword. In my case, I use the word order. As the last step, you need to set what should happen to the message when the automation processes it. In my case, I set it so that the message is marked as read. And one more important thing, set how many emails a single automation can process at once in one step. And for those who use Gmail, you can use the Gmail trigger instead of the SMTP trigger. The second step is processing attachments. I use flow control, specifically an iterator, which can extract all attachments from an email. Think of it as a list of files, like invoices, documents, or images. In our case, we're focusing on invoices. The automation now goes through each attachment one by one. The third step is saving the attachment to Google Drive. And now comes the most practical part. All attachments go straight to Google Drive. I created a module for Google Drive, and I set up a connection for Google Drive. If you don't have it, you can use the Add button, and in these steps, I select the folder where the invoices should be saved. I also used flow control in the previous step. Just leave this option enabled and click Save. The fourth step is ending the cycle. Since an email can have multiple attachments, I had to use the end of the iterator. That's this last point. Otherwise, the next steps would run multiple times. This is a little trick that keeps the automation clean and organized. Fifth step, creating a task in Google Calendar. Next, I wanted a task to be created in Google Calendar after saving the attachments from the email. I set up a connection to Google Calendar. If you don't have it yet, you can create it using the Add button. I selected the list where the task should be created. I defined a short name for the task. I added notes from the email. In your case, it can easily be just a text message, and I set the due date to be 7 days ahead from when the email was received. This way, I always have an overview of whether I've already paid the invoice or not. Step 6. Moving the message to another folder. To keep my inbox organized, I set it up so that the processed email is automatically moved to another folder, for example, Processed Invoices. This way, I know I've taken care of everything and my inbox stays clean. And finally, I added a short reply to the client. The automation sends them a message like, "Thank you." Your invoice has been received for processing. I set up which email account the message should be sent from and who should receive the message. I set the subject of the message and then the content of the message. Here you can choose whether it will be plain text or an HTML template. Fill out a short email just as if you were sending it directly from Outlook. What is the advantage of this step? The client immediately knows that their message has arrived and that the invoice will be processed and paid soon. Setting up the trigger. The entire automation runs based on the interval I set. You can set the processing to run every 15 minutes, once an hour, or even just once a day. You only need to set it once, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And that's it. An automation created in 20 minutes that saves all attachments to Google Drive, creates a task in the calendar, moves the email to another folder, and sends a reply back to the client. From this moment on, all invoices go to Google Drive and my inbox stays clean. If you like this demo and want to create a similar automation for your business, give this video a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below which processes you'd like to automate. And don't forget, the more you automate, the more time you'll have for what really matters to you.